Alrighty, so you hear the commercial time out. I want you to go support Dana as she is traveling with her stage play called Time Out. And it's a really good play that really identifies with a lot of the things that we as people, and that's all people, that we are probably some of the challenges that we are having within our family life, within relationships. I went and saw it back in April when it was in Dallas, Texas, a very good play. She is going on the road, so she will be going nationwide. So go check out Time Out with Dana. So welcome back to In the Raw at PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com. Remember, we are live streaming. Wave at the camera, yay! So we are so excited that you're here. If you want to go see us face to face and all our goofiness in the studio, at least mine, I don't know about any of this, but at least mine, go to dadsandfathers.tv, that's dadsandfathers.tv. For those of you who can't live stream, you can check us out at www.powerplayradionetwork.com. On your mobile device, shouthost.com/mobile/PPRN. And remember, I am giving away a gift today, so stay tuned because you don't know I'm going to tell you to call that number. So just so you can get prepared, the number is going to be 972-730-4322 for my free gift. So I am very excited for the show today. Allow me to introduce you to our guest in the studio today, Miss Anita Maxwell, who is your financial coach. So a little bit about Miss Anita. She's a former professional basketball player and standout athlete at New Mexico State University, where she was the first player in NCAA history, including men and women, to score 2,500 points. That girl can ball. She had 1,000 rebounds and recorded 300 steals in her career. She graduated with a Bachelor's of Art degree in International Business and attained a Master's of Art in Urban Affairs with a certification in Nonprofit Management from the University of Texas at Arlington. She is also a graduate of the Macomb School of Business Community MBA program. Following her graduate studies, Anita played professional overseas and was drafted by the Cleveland Rockets of the WNBA during the inaugural season. So, a trendsetter. I love trendsetters. She retired from playing professionally in 1999 when other interests began calling her life beyond basketball. She has more than 15 years of professional career experience in various areas of sales, marketing, for-profit, non-profit. She has the ability to connect with people on a level where they can understand and process information, leading her to be a sought-after community relations professional, assisting corporations in achieving and maintaining positive relationships with their clients in the communities in which they do business. Today, she's in the financial services industry as an entrepreneur. While Anita believes that she discovered this industry through divine providence, it did not take her long to see the common thread of her passion, the desire to help people do better. Don't we all need that? In some area in our life, I promise you. Her target market is the middle market, Main Street America, we love that, where she teaches families fundamental financial principles that are not taught in school and use those principles to help them change their families' legacies by changing their financial situation for the better. She is committed to changing people's understanding of how money works, which she believes would change the world. She also volunteers through community organizations and through her sorority. She's a Delta Psi, y'all, so all the Deltas say, hey, whatever some of you guys do. There you go. Okay. Her favorite thing to do is traveling and spending time with her family and friends, and she's a member of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship in Dallas. Anita, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited that you're here. I'm so excited about this. So I know I just read a mouthful. So
You did. It almost didn't even sound like me. I was like, who's she talking about?
Oh, well, kudos on all your accolades there and accommodations, and wow, great job. Great job. And I love the fact that you're a trendsetter. A lot of people don't look at themselves that way.
I
Maybe I should say
don't.
the pioneer word.
Okay, I definitely don't. I never thought about it that way. But other people tend to be a lot more impressed because it's you and you're living the life.
Yes.
So I didn't really, but thank you.
Because I think sometimes we think about people like, Oprah Winfrey's and, Muhammad Ali and stuff, and we don't realize that we also are in that same space. And we're setting trends and being pioneers, something that's a little bit different than what their industry is.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so I do appreciate that. So, okay, so WNBA.
Okay.
We're going to start there first. We're going to get into the good stuff. So, I know you played forward.
I did.
How was that?
Physical. Well,
Absolutely.
I was always the kid who liked doing the physical aspect of sports. So playing forward was a natural transition for me, but I'm also tall. So,
Yes, you are.
and unlike the kids who play today, you didn't grow up, if you were tall, there was a spot you were supposed to be. Get on the block and post somebody up. It wasn't, okay, I'm going to stand out here and play point guard like you see them doing today. There has been just a great transition into being able to play all positions. But at that time, you're tall, you got some hips, some muscle, get down low and rebound and do some
There's
stuff.
one position for this right there.
Exactly. So it was nice. I am very proud of the career I had and the connection with basketball and what just sports has afforded me.
Awesome. So, share with us one takeaway from that whole experience of being in the WNBA.
Well, I often say this to young people when I go and speak to schools. I remember I was the kid who was always quitting when I was in high school because I loved the game, but when it came to everything that has to happen in the background for you to be great, that wasn't always desirable. I loved when we had a game, but I hated the suicides and the weightlifting and all of that. So when I go and I talk to young people, and today I think on what's my biggest lesson, it's if it's something you're interested in. I mean, sports has a way of developing character unlike a lot of other things you could do. You learn how to be a team player. You learn how to not sulk too long when there's a loss because tomorrow there's another game. There's someone else you need to prepare for. And that mimics life. So I always tell young children and even adults, because that applies to all of us, if you want to be good, even great at something, you have to do it even if it's not desirable. That's the difference between people who are successful and those who are average. They both like and dislike the same things. One of them does it anyway. And so that's what I learned from sports. And even in the WNBA, what I learned was once I had reached my threshold of what I was willing to do to be successful, there were other people who were willing to go far beyond that. So figure out what your point is. So my career ended and other people had extremely long careers. So success has a price. We all get to the point where you determine what price you're willing to pay. And somebody is going to pay a higher price. So if you want to be the best, you've got to pay whatever that price is. That's a life lesson. That was a big lesson for me from the WNBA, and I share it with people all the time.
Wow, that's a huge lesson. I mean, I was sitting here as you were sharing that, just thinking about the process and just thinking about, just running through my own life and just people I know. And you said something very profound because when you reach your threshold, it doesn't stop what's in play.
Exactly.
It's just that you've reached it.
Exactly.
So, and I think that we sometimes forget that. We think that, okay, since I'm there, it's going to stop. It doesn't.
It does not. Someone's always willing to push themselves further. And so where you stop is where you are agreeing to stop. But it never stops.
That's key, where you are agreeing to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Awesome. Woo, that was rich, y'all. That was rich. I love that. I love that. So, are you still connected to the WBA? I know at one point you was on the advisory board for the WPBA.
I am very much still connected to the sport. I was one of those players who knew early on that I didn't want to coach. And then I still experimented with it, and I confirmed that I didn't want to coach.
Now, why is that?
I'm a much better fan. I did coach for a bit, and I realized that I would take the losses harder than the players. They would be laughing and giggling after the game, and I'm thinking, what's funny? We just lost. Let's go to the gym. Let's do something. So I think when you know what you're capable of, it makes it a little bit more challenging. Kudos to all of my sisters and brothers who continue to coach because we need that. We need them understanding the fundamentals and being the best they can be, but I knew that wasn't my route. So once I was done playing, I was really curious to see what else I was good at. I had played sports my whole life. And there's a lot of data that shows that there are characteristics that you develop in sports that make you a great business person. But a lot of times, once you get in that cycle of playing sports, you know you're good at that, and it's a natural progression into coaching or training. So while there is a place for that, and I'm so glad that a lot of people do it, that wasn't the route that I wanted to go into. So I'm still very much connected to the sport. A lot of my friends are coaches and are around the sport, but I currently serve on the advisory board of the Women's Professional Basketball alumni. And we started that, or my friend, Jerusha Brown, she was actually my teammate in the WNBA. She had an experience where she was off and she was speaking to some former players. And listening to their stories, she actually heard that one of them was homeless.
Mm.
And she was shocked. She was like, we've traveled the world, we've made money, we have all these avenues open to us. How does that happen? And what we discovered was there's a disconnect from the time you stop playing. When those lights go out, you almost become a forgotten person. And so God just put it on her heart to start an organization that helped the ladies transition from sport into real life, because you might never have had a job before other than sports. And if you're playing sports, we don't always have the opportunity to have internships, so you really don't know what you're good at yet. And so forging those partnerships to help us figure out, give us a practice ground. What do I like to do? What can I do? What else is in me? Is what the WPBA is meant to do, and just assist, just come alongside them as they are transitioning from 20, 25 years of just playing sports and never having done anything else. So I'm glad to be a part of it in that way, and it's getting bigger and better as we figure out what the ladies need. We're always looking for partnerships that can help us assist them, but it's wonderful, and I'd much rather be that side of the coach versus on the floor.
Well, and one of the things too that I think I was reading about the WBA was, along with you guys helping the players with their career transition and higher education and the spiritual and physical, psychological well-being, you guys also work in the community with, is it 5-year-olds to, is it 5th grade to 12th grade girls? So you are mentoring our young girls as well.
Right. Well, Rusha has her passion principles where she partners with a lot of community organizations, because it's also important that we teach young girls that it's okay to be young women.
Yes.
And how do you transition? You can be girl and athlete. You know, you can still be who you are and be confident in that. So she does things like public speaking and outside of the court. How do you handle yourself in certain situations? There may be interviewing skills. So there's a lot of that going on, and I'm not necessarily on that side of it, but I do support her in those efforts. My side has been, I'm the person she can call when she needs to bounce things off. When we are having WPBA events, like we partnered with the NCAA for the Women's Final Four a couple of months ago in Indianapolis, and we had a lot of the players come out and do celebrity games and interact with the community. So in that sense of it, directly connected to the players. But it's so much bigger, because life doesn't start when we become the athlete. We've got to start when we're young and have that vision of doing something else. You don't just show up one day and decide I'm going to the WNBA. There are a lot of people who want that.
Right. Well, I think it's great that you're in the community and you're helping our young girls to just identify with themselves as a girl, because sometimes we grow up as grown women and still can't identify with ourselves as a grown woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to start from somewhere. So for those out there looking for something to connect with, sounds like a great organization to me.
It definitely is. And just to plug, the Women's Final Four next year is in Dallas.
Okay.
And so we are looking for schools to connect with. We're going to do some mentoring. We will be on site doing all kinds of outreach in different places all over the Metroplex. So we're already starting to put those relationships in place and recruit individuals to be a part of it, and looking for venues as well as people who want to volunteer, or maybe you have a youth group that needs what we have to bring to the table. So please connect with us.
What a great partnership. I love collaboration. I like it when we collaborate. So that was some good conversation there. And so I do want to transition into just where you are in your career right now. So we're going to take a break. And, you know, all I can say on this song is, excuse me, Miss Fit. Now, how appropriate.
Like, that's just
I was like, Don, did you really put that song up there?
No, excuse me, miss.
Miss